Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's lesson about making box plots. You want to get out your notes and your assignment. We're going to do the example that's on the notes. It looks like this. We'll just dive right in. So making a box plot requires you to get 5 numbers, and we call that the 5-number summary. Those numbers are the smallest number, the minimum, the maximum number, the biggest number, the median. And those we've gotten before, or at least should have been able really easy to get. And then the other two are called quartiles. And a quartile is like the median of a half of the data. It's like getting the median if you only had a half the data there. And so let's go ahead and make a box plot using this data set here. You may notice it's kind of large, but that's okay. We're going to work through it. First things first, you can get the min and maximum usually really easily by finding the lowest number and the highest number. Luckily, this data set is in numerical order, so we just go down to the lowest number. We got 13, and we got our biggest number of 85, and voila, you got min and max. Next thing you need to do is find the median, which, you can count in from either side. So I'm going to just kind of cross off on both sides, and go ahead and find your median. You can pause the video and figure it out. I'm going to do that too. Alright, so this one was a little bit tricky, right? You count them in and you count it on both sides, but then you got these two middle numbers, and your median is going to be the middle of that. And so you actually had to add these numbers together and divide by 2. You're looking at 33.5. You add them together, you get 67. Divide by 2, you get 33.5. So our median's here, and you'll want to mark that. You can circle the number or put a line there, and that's going to be important because these next two things, Q1 and Q3, are quartile 1 and quartile 3, or first quartile and third quartile. Those represent 1/4 of the way through the data. And so what you're going to do is you're going to look at the left half, excluding your median there, and you're going to find the median of that. And that'll be quartile 1. And then you'll look at the right half of the data, again excluding your median, and you're going to find the median of that half. So it's like you're getting the 1/4 mark along your data. So go ahead and do, actually, I'll do the left one and you can do the right one. So let's count in 1 there. And again, we got 2 numbers in the middle. And you're supposed to find the halfway mark between 19 and 19, which is 19. That's convenient. So yeah, we got 19 here as our first quartile. So go ahead and find the middle number of the right half here. It's looking like you're going to have to average the 2 middle numbers together. So go ahead and pause the video and find that quartile 3 there. Alright, again, this one's a little bit tricky. Our 2 middle numbers here are 57 and 64. You have to add them up and divide by 2. They add up to be 121. Divide by 2, you get 60.5. And so there's our third quartile. So we got lowest number, highest number, middlest number, and then the halfway point on either side. So we got these 5 numbers. That's the 5-number summary. And this is an example of one of the harder ones that you have to do, just because the examples on your assignment are smaller data sets, and they tend not to be this hectic. But I want to show you what one kind of looks like on the more difficult end, so you can know all the inner details that you need to know. So now we have these very important 5 numbers. We're going to be using them to make the box plot. And I'm copying and pasting these numbers so I don't forget them. I'm just going to throw them over here. Next thing, you're going to need a number line. Just like when you're making a dot plot, you're going to need a number line. It needs to be consistent as you count across here. We're going from 13 to 85. So let's start at 10 and just count by 10 as we go across here. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And we kind of don't need these larger ones, but we'll just keep labeling them. All right. Now that you have your number line and you have your 5-number summary, you're going to put a vertical line above each of these numbers. You may notice there's not a tick mark for 13. You're going to make your best guess and put a line there at 13. And then again at 19, it's a little bit less than 20, so we'll put it there. And then we got 33.5, it's looking like about there. And then 60.5, which is just to the right of 60, a little tiny bit. Or right above, right about there. And then we got 85, halfway between 80 and 90. So now you have these these 5 vertical lines. You can structure your box plot by connecting the 3 middle ones along the bottom and the top. And that makes the box of our box plot. And now we're going to connect in the center here our vertical lines on either end to the box. And once you've done that, you've successfully created a box plot. It's also called a box and whisker plot. This guy over here is the whisker. And then we got the box here. Well, each of these vertical lines tells you an important number in your data set, right? We got min, we got quartile 1, we got median, we got quartile 3, and we got max. And that's always the same for all box plots. So the rightmost vertical line, the rightmost point, leftmost point are the max and min. The sides of your box is made from the quartiles, and then the line inside your box is the median. And that's always true. And another important thing about box plots you need to know is, remember, median is halfway through your data. So 50% of your data lands to the left of your median and 50% to the right of your median. And remember, quartiles are 1/4 of the way through the data. So over here, this section is going to be 25% of your data, and this section is going to be 25% of your data, and this section is 25% of your data, and this section is 25% of your data. So the box and whisker plot is really good at showing how the data is spread out. So like this 25% is not that spread out, but this 25% of the data is more spread out. So it kind of gives you an idea of how the data is distributed through your data set. And so that's a few things to remember about box plots, that each section is 25% of the data. So you got 25%, 25%, 25% on each section. Okay. Well, let's go to your actual assignment and do some examples on there. And here's something that's really handy, you'll find quite useful when you're doing your assignment, is your calculator can get those 5 numbers for you. I wanted to show you the kind of manual process so you know where they come from and how to get them. But you can use a calculator. If you're using one of those graphing calculators, you get the standard deviation like you normally have. And if you scroll to the bottom, the last 5 numbers on that list are the 5 number. If you use that online calculator, you put your data set in the brackets for A, and then again, if you scroll to the bottom, the last 5 things are going to be the min, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and then the maximum. And so let's actually use a calculator to go ahead and get the 5 number summary for number 1 here. Take your data set, put it in the calculator of your choice, and get these 5 numbers. Pause the video and do that. Alright, let's check and see how you did. You should have gotten min is 1, quartile 1 is 3, and median's 5, and third quartile is 7, and then the maximum number is 9. These happen to be just the odd numbers. And so now that you have your 5 numbers there, you can go ahead and make your number line here. It's counting by ones, because you usually go 1 through 9. And then you're going to put a vertical line above those 5 numbers. So we had a line above 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And then you connect the top and bottom of those middle 3 to make the box, and then you connect to the ends to get your whiskers, and voila, you have made a box plot. Let's do one more, just so you can kind of check and see how things are going. Go to number 2. It's a slightly bigger data set, but go ahead and put it in your calculator and get the 5 number summary and make the box plot. See if you can do the whole process. Pause the video and do that. Alright, let's check and see how you did. You should have gotten 1, 3, 5, 7.5, and 10. And let's go over and see how your box plot did. Alright, should look something like this, right? Vertical line at 1, 3, 5, 7.5, and then 10. Something you can do on these box plots is actually label them. You can put a little number above them just to kind of show what they are, which is useful for the ones where it's not above a tick mark precisely, and so people can know what that value is. But there you go. There's how you make your box plots. Those are the parts. Hopefully remembering that each section is 25% of the data, and so this one's a little bit more spread out over here than it is here on the left side. And there you go. Good luck on your assignment.